All right. DJ Uiagalelei has apparently, according to the report that you cited before we came on, is coming back to Florida State.
Now, I'm not sure if he is 100%, but he is certainly going for that red shirt, and there is a possibility of him returning, which, I mean, if you were to just to guess, even as an outsider or FSU insider, wow, I wouldn't have expected it. But it just makes, like, with him in that room, how does that affect your ability to bring in a quarterback, portal quarterback, etc.? You got the two, you got Brock and Luke. It's hard to judge not knowing exactly whatever the injury he had in camp was or what the issues were. At the end of the day, I've not got no problem with him being in my quarterback room. But if Mike Norvell is willing to go into next season with him as his starting quarterback, it's over. He's going to be fired next year.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it, because, like, if maybe Brennan Marion gets in and that offense is perfect, I don't know. It just seems like Luke would even be better in that because he runs so much better, but I don't know. It's just tough. What if he gets hurt again? What if this? What if that? I kind of feel for DJU. I can't lie, because I do believe he came in here 100% wanting to make a run and never lacked for effort. And he's been a great teammate and helping out with the clipboard, and he's got an earpiece in his ear. Great kid, great family, and all that. It's just, it's tough. It's almost like with the particular offense, you just kind of want to clear the slate. So we'll see what happens. I was a bit surprised to see that story today. I can't lie.
So either Mike Norvell is going to have the conversation with him to say, you are welcome back. We are hitting the portal, and most likely you are going to be superseded on the depth chart by somebody that we know is going to be the starting quarterback. You have every opportunity in camp to fight for the job, but there are no guarantees. And based on our evaluation of the kind of guys that we're going to go after, you're probably not going to be the starting quarterback. Maybe DJ's thought process is it's a realization that I'm not going to be an NFL quarterback, but I want to do this as a job. I want to coach quarterbacks. I want to be a coach. I want to be involved in this. I like the atmosphere here, and I'm going to learn from Mike Norvell and this coaching staff. Who knows?
Yeah, you read my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking as I was alluding to all that. I could definitely see that. He definitely loves the game, and you just look at the Boston College quarterback. He gets benched for 1 week and he quits. Hits the portal. For DJ to be there, right there next to the coordinators with the earpiece and the play sheet, communicating with the quarterbacks as soon as they come off the field, hats off to him. And the crap he took from me and everybody else in the media, if he's got thick enough skin that he's going to come back, exactly how you said. I hope he's not like they're not holding their hats on him and we keep the same quarterback room. But yeah, hats off to him. If he wants to be a coach, I could definitely see that.
Falconer TRX, thank you so much for the super sticker contribution. Appreciate you being here. And we've got Falconer TRX coming back with this one. He's got, I feel bad for FSU. Football is best with a good FSU.
Ain't that right, man? I'll tell you what. How long has it been since we've had 3 good Florida teams, or even 2 good Florida teams in 1 year? Like, oh my goodness, it's been since the 90s, like the turn of the century.
So, yeah, there was a time, and I don't know exactly how old you are, but I think you're running about 20 years behind me, something like that. Yeah, close to it, where there was a time when I thought, these 3 are going to, not that they're going to run college football, but that's what it was about to come out of my mouth. Something close to that. Like, these 3 are always good. Like, if you start sometime in the mid 80s and you run through the 80s, the 90s into the early 2000s, the thought is, man, these 3 are always going to be good. And I know Miami got hit with probation in there a couple times there in the late 90s, but then they immediately bounced back. But they were on top of the world together for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, you go in the record books and look at national titles and weeks at number one and all that stuff. It was them, like all in the top five, from the 80s all the way to 2001. So it's definitely been wild. Like when Jimbo was here, Miami stunk the whole time. It's like Florida stunk the whole time except for 1 year. I think 2012 they had a random good year.
Yeah.
Um, and then now that Florida State stinks, Miami's good, and Florida, it's like, goodness gracious, they can't get it together. I got a couple theories on this. I don't know if it's social media or just the proliferation. I think the most is just I can't talk. The proliferation of college football games being on TV. Like when those three were running things, there was like only 10 teams you would see every week on national TV. Now, like every single game is on. The ability of staffs to recruit nationally has made it to where, and that's one of the reasons you want to get a recruiter in here. It's almost like everybody has equal access to Florida in the entire nation. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. There was a time when Florida and Miami and Florida State kept all those guys home. If a Florida guy went to Ohio State or Michigan, it was like a big deal. Now, with the way flights and just everything is, it's tough. It's the chicken or egg thing. And Florida State finally they made the egg, and then they broke it. You go 13-0, and Mike Norvell and the staff were putting together a top 10 class, and there you go, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I would say for the length of time that I've had this YouTube channel and these series of YouTube channels, not going back to when I was covering college football on television, but on YouTube, I should have kept some kind of trajectory map on Florida State, and Miami, because it seems like about every 6 months there's a change in direction. Like
It's crazy.
for about 6 months, you think, okay, oh, Dan Mullen just got hired. Florida, boom, they took off. He went from 4-8 the year before he was hired to boom, BCS game, BCS,
Yep.
BS. He had 3 consecutive BCS bowl games, and they went to an SEC championship game. Oh, they're headed, and then boom, wheels come off. He does a bunch of dumb things. When Mark Richt, boom, he takes over for Al Golden. Immediately, they're better. Then they're a lot better in 2017. And then issues with his son. Now we find out, obviously, he's unfortunately had issues with his health. He's never been the same. And then, boom, he's gone. It seems like obviously from Jimbo being in his prime, national championship, and then another undefeated regular season, really good year in 2015-16, and then Willie can't do anything. And then boom, Norvell comes in. It takes him a couple of years. They look like a train wreck, but then they take off. It's been all over the place for those three.
Yeah, you go back 3 months, and Billy Napier, he's not even the hot seat. He's fired. He's a lame duck going into the season. Mike Norvell makes almost $11 million. Coach of the year candidate, all that stuff. And here we are 3 months later, and it's Napier got extended, and Mike's on the hot seat. One option that that could possibly happen. It's probably not going to happen. But you could always, like, if the hiring process doesn't go whatever, like, he could still get gone. Like, I don't think 60 million even would stop it if they don't have faith in what's going to get fixed. And I kind of forgot the point I was going to make with that, but it's kind of all on the table going forward.
I was just going to finish off our previous recap by saying, and then going into this season, obviously Mario Cristobal had these great recruiting classes, but he was 12-13 his first 2 years. And I don't think still, regardless of how well he's doing right now, that there's an excuse for that, taking over a top 15 roster in the country. But anyway, the roller coaster continues all the way across the board with these three schools. Chad,